All right, good morning, everyone. I'm glad that you joined us today, and I'm happy to be able to help you understand our new mobile-friendly onboarding in the adaptive employee experience. Please feel free to enter questions along the way into the chat box at any time during the presentation. We'll compile a list of questions and answers after the webinar, and we'll provide the list along with a recording of this webinar and the slides to all of our registrants. My name is Amy Poole, and I'm a client trainer at Ahola. For those of you who may not know Ahola, we are a family-owned payroll and HR services provider headquartered in Brecksville, Ohio, with over 50 years of payroll, tax, and HR experience. Having served over 10,000 small businesses nationwide, offering a full range of payroll and HR services and software. Our agenda for today will be to introduce mobile onboarding in the adaptive employee experience, go over how new hire users will access mobile onboarding, and walk through mobile onboarding from the new hires perspective, which will prepare our admin users to assist new hires with completing onboarding and answering any questions their new hires may have. Let's start with defining onboarding. So the new hire onboarding process is first, when an administrator initiates onboarding, the new hire receives an email authentication link to access the onboarding wizard. The new hire then completes their information and uploads supporting documentation. For example, they complete their W-4, I-9, and direct deposit through onboarding. If the required information has been omitted, the new hire will be prompted and unable to proceed until they have completed all required information for onboarding. The new hire reviews and confirms all information before submission. Auto-generated emails are sent to administrators to keep them apprised of the new hire's progress once they've submitted onboarding. And then an assigned administrator can verify, edit, and enter additional information. For example, salary information and the employer portion of the Form I-9. Features of onboarding include workflow automation that notifies the appropriate personnel in a timely manner and takes them through all of the necessary steps, tasks, and forms, along with built-in layers of approval before the onboarding process is considered complete. Also, increased efficiency by allowing users to start onboarding before the new hire shows up at their place of work by sending their onboarding and documents to complete in advance, and by allowing new hires to enter their information directly into isolved for employer review, avoiding multiple data entry in benefits, HR, and payroll. Built-in I-9 and tax engine tools, which automate the creation of digital forms while also ensuring that forms are filled out completely and correctly. The ability for you to make a great first impression and personalize the onboarding experience for your new hires by including custom messaging and configuring and customizing multiple onboarding templates for different employee groups, such as your hourly, salary, 1099, rehires, seasonal employees, and so on. Important company documents such as company handbooks can be attached, and electronic signatures can be used as binding agreement. Signed completed documents are stored in the system for access and review. Also, onboarding in our mobile-friendly user interface allows new hires to submit their information and complete all onboarding tasks from any device or browser. And this is completed using the same login your new hire will use for employee self-service, where they can view their pay stubs, year-end forms, and more. Client responsibilities that come along with this are for a designated onboarding administrator or administrators to first complete our onboarding training so that they're prepared to initiate onboarding for their new hires, provide technical support for new hires for common user error issues that may prevent new hires from registering for employee self-service, completing certain pages, and or submitting onboarding. Employees should contact their employer directly for all registration, login, or onboarding assistance. Someone from your team will need to provide technical support to your new hires on a regular basis, but this can be understood as a positive. Onboarding is designed for compliance, automating digital forms that are filled out completely and accurately, meaning that the system works for you to catch non-compliant submissions. For example, an I-9 that has Amy Poole listed as the employee's name, but Amelia Poole for the employee's signature. And we spend the majority of our time in this session as well as in our weekly onboarding session, if you'd like to join us for that as well, walking through onboarding from the new hire's perspective to prepare you for this responsibility. So when your new hire says they can't submit onboarding or they're having issues, you know the questions to ask them to assist them to successfully submit onboarding. Client administrators are also responsible for reviewing and approving onboarding and completing the employer portion of the Form I-9. We are really thrilled to announce the functionality of mobile onboarding in the adaptive employee experience. This is available for all of our onboarding clients now. Everything that we'll go over today is available today to you and your employees at no additional cost. The process of building templates, deciding which sections to include, and attaching required forms remains unchanged for you administrators, and that will continue to be set up in the core isolved screens. Your new hires are automatically prompted to go through the Adaptive Employee Experience login, otherwise known as the AEE, when they receive a link via email to register for self-service to complete onboarding. This simple process brings your new hire users to a streamlined onboarding workflow within our Adaptive Employee Experience, which allows them to complete all onboarding tasks from any device or browser, including a computer, tablet, or phone. To talk about navigation a bit, the mobile interface will have pink start buttons for the sections that your organization has enabled in your onboarding setup. Users can start at the top of onboarding, and as they progress, either click the next button at the bottom of the screen to begin the next section or screen, click the pink start button shown in the next section they wish to work in, or they can use the arrows at the top of the screen to move throughout the onboarding wizard. Users are not required to complete the sections in the order in which they appear. They're able to work to complete the included sections in any order, filling out the requested information in a haphazard order that reflects their organic ability to collect and provide all required documentation. For example, if they have their direct deposit information ready before they have their tax information ready. As always, the system automatically emails a default welcome message to the new hire. The default welcome message is displayed here, and the new hire's name and your company's name are automatically added. The registration link in the email directs the new hire to the authentication page where they'll add their own password and security questions. New hires who click on the link in the self-service registration email and are taken to the login screen rather than a registration screen, the one we just saw on the previous slide, they have an existing self-service account with this email address, even if with another employer. The welcome email they receive directs them to log into their existing account and provides their username and instructions to reset their password if needed. After registration or login, users will be routed to this new mobile-friendly interface at holowebpr.com/cloud service to begin onboarding in the adaptive employee experience. Once logged in, users on a mobile device will be prompted at the bottom of their screen to add the web page to their home screen, which will create an app-like icon that's added to their mobile home screen for simplified access. We'll provide you with the instructions shown on the slide for both Apple and Android devices, along with today's recording and slides. To log in in the future after completing registration, users will return to holowebpr.com/cloud service. And for security purposes, they will not be able to log in using the now expired registration link in the self-service registration email. Please note, new hires should not use holowebpr.com to complete onboarding on a mobile device. This holowebpr.com, where you log in as admins, is the incorrect URL or interface for mobile onboarding. And if the new hire uses this, they'll run into issues here, including but not limited to this non-user-friendly interface on mobile devices that you see here on the screen. It's very crunched, and other issues like the social security number field is not required in this session. This is just not the intended mobile-friendly interface. So the correct link is holowebpr.com/cloud service. And for more detailed help guides on troubleshooting self-service logins in general, admins can click the pink help button in the upper right corner of the general screen under employee management. So let's continue to walk through mobile onboarding from the new hire's perspective. Once the new hire finishes authenticating or logging in, they'll be presented with terms of use for general usage and electronic signature. They must accept the terms of use for the electronic signature to move on into onboarding. If they don't, they'll be referred back to you via automatic email, letting you know to enter them into the system manually. And after accepting the terms of use, your new hires are automatically prompted to begin onboarding and are presented with the options that are chosen to be included in the onboarding template, starting with the welcome page. The customizable welcome message is shown at the bottom of the welcome screen. And when attached to the welcome message, any company documents, links, and fillable PDF forms that you've attached are shown at the bottom of this screen as well. For documents which require acknowledgement, the new hire will not be able to acknowledge documents without opening them first. And new hires will not be able to submit onboarding if required documents have not been reviewed and acknowledged here on the welcome screen. The very first section from there is the Your Information section, which first allows the employee to add a profile picture. Adding a profile picture is not required. The About You section is next and asks the new hire for information starting with their first and last name, preferred name, and other options. The information entered by the administrator when they initiated onboarding for the new hire is displayed in this section, but can be edited by the new hire here if needed. You'll notice here, as well as throughout the entire onboarding session, that all fields are required unless marked optional. New to the mobile onboarding experience, we've added a preferred pronouns field to help better identify how the new hire would like to be addressed, such as he, him, she, her, or they, them. This option is currently only available in the adaptive employee experience onboarding session. Any data provided will be shown on the employee summary screen once the new hire is saved into the system. Further development will occur for this feature. The home address section is below, and the new hire is prompted to enter their address starting with the zip code, which will bring up the city and state automatically. This page also has space for adding an alternate address if the new hire would like their paychecks or tax forms mailed to a different address, including a military or foreign address. The next section is the Your Contact Details section. Noteworthy here that the Social Security number section is required by default, but other fields can be required and hidden per template. Also, if the new hire does not have a Social Security number, they will also have the option to select another ID type to enter from the ID type dropdown, including ITIN, EIN, or other. Next, new hires are able to add details for their direct deposit accounts on the Your Paycheck screen. Admin users may choose to add an additional optional message as shown here under the Messages section at the bottom of the screen. Once they begin adding their direct deposit, at the top of the next screen, they'll see there's a sample of a personal check to give them an idea of where to find the information that's being requested of them. They'll fill in the routing number, account type. For this, we allow checking, savings, and pay cards. The description is an optional field, but we do recommend using the bank name for easier identification. And then deposit details such as the flat dollar amount, percentage of net pay, and remaining net, which is recommended if they only have one account, as well as the frequency. They can select multiple account types at no additional cost to you. The next section is the tax information section, which leads them through an online tax wizard that walks them through filling out information which is required for any applicable tax jurisdictions based on both the residence address that the new hire has entered and the work location that's selected during the initiation of the onboarding process. After clicking the pink tax forms button on the previous screen, they'll then click the blue start button and continue to navigate throughout the tax wizard using these blue buttons. The required information for each form is presented as a question at a time with instructions and additional information in areas where it may not be completely clear which information is being requested in order to help new hires complete the forms most accurately. Here are some more examples on screen of them being walked through the wizard a question at a time. And once they are finished with the first section for federal, they should click the blue continue button shown over here in the screenshot on the right. And the system will then begin walking them through the next applicable tax jurisdiction, which in most cases is state. They'll need to repeat this process for any local jurisdictions as well, and they will be walked through all applicable tax jurisdictions one at a time. All tax jurisdictions that apply to them must be completed in order to submit onboarding. And the tax section will be considered incomplete until the forms for all applicable tax jurisdictions have been completed. They can go back to the tax information section at any time to make sure not only is federal completed, but also state and any applicable locals listed. On the next screen, they're prompted to enter data to complete their Form I-9 electronically. The completed I-9 PDF is stored in employee documents. The names they enter on the screen must match the names entered on the About You screen exactly in order to move forward with the electronic signature. Again, I'm going to repeat this because this is critical. Your employee will not be able to move forward, and this is one of the most common troubleshooting points unless the names that they enter on the screen match exactly. This screen satisfies requirements just as though the new hire is filling in a paper version of Form I-9. Until the form is filled in with all required fields, the validate button at the bottom of the screen is grayed out to indicate that it's unavailable. The Form I-9 attestation screen is where the new hire is able to select their citizenship status and enter their name to electronically sign the document. The sign button isn't available until both of those fields have been filled in. The first, middle, and last names entered for the electronic signature here must match each name on the record. If not, when the employee clicks acknowledge, a blue pop-up notification banner displays at the top of the screen saying which names, first, middle, or last, don't match. The employee would need to click the white cancel button, then update the corresponding name or signature fields to match. For example, if they put in Amy Poole in the beginning in the About You section, or but then they put in Amy L. Poole in the name section at the beginning of the Form I-9, or a combination one of those two in the signature of employee, the name needs to match exactly in all three areas. I want to repeat this. They will get this error message if the names don't match, because this is a federal form and the system is ensuring that their entries are compliant to create this form. The EEO self-identification screen is next. This screen collects information from the new hire for voluntary self-identification for gender, ethnic origin, and veteran status for different employer reports. There's an there's an informational area at the top of the screen explaining why the new hire is being asked for this information in case they are unfamiliar with what it is, and why the employer needs to obtain the information from them. Next, additional information can be requested of the new hire on the supporting document screen. This can be a great place to collect supporting documents for validating direct deposit accounts, I-9 documents, and other items you may need from new hires. Administrators can also create and attach a message. For example, the message could provide instructions to upload a copy of a voided check or bank letter. Lastly, the final review section highlights any missing or incomplete information under the title Almost Done, with hyperlinks to any sections where they still need to complete items before saving. This ensures that no critical onboarding employment documentation is omitted. Once the new hire has submitted, the screen will show a confirmation of the submission. The new hire can no longer make any changes at this point. When onboarding submitted, administrators will receive an automatic email letting them know that the new hire has completed onboarding, prompting them to log in to review and approve the onboarding submission. So same as always with that component. Some key takeaways or most common issues that we hear of. Remember, users should not use aholawebpr.com to complete onboarding, particularly on a mobile device, but just communicate to your new hires that the correct link is aholawebpr.com/cloud service. The welcome message and any attached documents and forms are shown at the bottom of the welcome screen. All applicable tax jurisdictions, federal, state, and local, must be completed in the tax information section in order to submit onboarding. And the names entered on the About You screen must match the names entered on the Form I-9 screen and the name entered for the Form I-9 signature exactly. Also, throughout onboarding, all fields are required unless marked optional. That brings us to the end of today's masterclass, where we introduced mobile onboarding and the adaptive employee experience, discussed how users will access mobile onboarding, and walked through mobile onboarding from the new hires perspective to prepare admin users to assist new hires with completing onboarding and answering any questions their new hires may have. If you haven't already done so, you can enter your questions into the chat. We're going to compile a list of Q&A that will be sent out with the slides and recording of today's session. If you need help at any time, you have a number of resources to assist you. You can always access our full collection of help documents by clicking on the pink help button in the upper right corner of most isolved screens, including screens relevant to today's training. The dropdown contains help guides pertaining to whichever screen you're currently on. If you'd like to utilize a more expansive range of articles and video training courses from our network to continue your learning of the isolved system, I recommend registering for and utilizing isolved University. There's no additional cost. You can access the university by clicking on the pink isolved University button, which is located right next to the help button on most of our screens. Your dedicated payroll specialist is your point of contact for any answers to any day-to-day questions you may have about the system or payroll. Also, training at AHOLA is free, continuous, and unlimited. We really want to make sure that you feel confident managing this product and this important experience for your employees. If your managers need training, if you're adding new management as your business grows, or if you experience turnover, you can feel free to share our training registration links internally, or you can reach out to training@ahola.com and we can send those your way. We're happy to train anyone that comes in and needs assistance navigating the software and becoming acclimated, as well as anyone who may simply need a refresher. So some next steps, if you would like more detailed information, including information on the setup and maintenance process from the admin end, please sign up for our weekly onboarding setup and maintenance training at the link shown on the screen. And again, this is going to be provided to you via email. The slides will be provided so you can access this link there. You can also contact your payroll specialist for further assistance, or if you have further questions related specifically to your business and for more payroll, tax, and HR resources, or if you'd like more information on AHOLA and our services, please visit our website at ahola.com. Thanks again, everyone, for attending this masterclass webinar, and I hope you all have a great day.